welcome to my channel. I'm Valerie with 5P Designs. Right before this you saw the before picture of a little shelf area that I have in my patio. It's just kind of like a mishmash of things we picked up at yard sales and various places. I thought maybe it was time to do a redo, freshen it up, make it look a little more cohesive. So I've gathered some things, not exactly sure which I'm going to use yet. Some are from the dollar store, like this mirror I thought I could paint in distress. These are actually from the dollar store as well. They're cute as they are, but I still thought I'd paint them and decorate them a bit differently. And then I have this round board left over from my cake decorating days. I used to do wedding cakes, and to be quite honest, I never really liked wedding cakes. There's too much pressure. They're always heavy, you have to transport them, and you don't want to ruin a bride's day if you mess up the cake. So not doing wedding cakes anymore. So I thought I'd put this to a new use, paint it, and do something different for it. Let's see what else. Oh, I also picked up these jars from the dollar store, and my neighbor had given me these really cool rocks. I'll take a picture and show them to you. So I thought it'd be neat to fill them with those rocks, and then I thought maybe I'd paint this white because a lot of the things here are going to be white. So I am going to get started. I'll video some of what I'm doing, and then in the end, when everything's done, I'll just explain what I did, and hopefully the shelf comes together and give it a nice fresh look. So I just wanted to give you a little update. I have painted 2 coats on most of these, actually all of them, I lied. And on this big board, what I did is I put a coat of the DIY Apothecary around the edges, and then I did 2 coats of the White Swan over top, and then I took a wet rag and wiped it back. Looks kind of funny on the screen there. The goal with that was to give it a little bit of a dimension so it wasn't just completely flat. So I'm letting these things dry, and then I'm going to do some stamping just to give some things a little more character. And I talked about the rocks that my neighbor had given me, so I went ahead and filled the jars with those. So I don't know where she got them. She gave me a whole bucket of them, and I just couldn't decide what to do with them. They have all these neat little shapes and holes and nooks and crannies, and they're just super fun. So for now we have them in these jars, and I did paint the lids white. They're wet, so I'm not going to pick them up. So they're wet, and I didn't paint everything super nice. It's kind of, I wanted to have a rustic kind of vibe. It's going to be outside. I wanted to have character and dimension, so I didn't worry too much if I missed a spot here and there. And then when it's dry, I'm going to do some distressing anyway. So it was a real quick paint job. So we'll take a break again, let these dry up, and then we will get to stamping. All right, so I went ahead and stamped the sign. And again, the lighting's kind of funny there. I used the IOD stamps in Wreath Builder Classic. Now, if I were to do this again, I would be a little smarter about it. For some reason, I thought it would be easier to start working from the inside out, but it made it really hard to guess where exactly to place it. So I have a bigger border here than I do up top, which in this project is okay because it's going to have stuff in front of it, so it won't be very noticeable. So we're not worried about it, but now we know for next time. So after I did the stamping, I just took a damp rag and just went over it very lightly just to fade the stamp out a little bit because the contrast was a little bit too much. So now I really like it. And then I distressed this mirror here, so you can see all the detail and it looks super cool and matches better with the rest of it. The burner covers, I just did a plain, this one is the Apothecary, and then the other one in plain white, and just distressed the edges just a tad. I didn't stamp on these because I don't want everything to look too terribly busy, so I left those plain. Distressed the lids for the jars just a little bit. So next step is to just let it dry. I'm going to put a sealer over it. I'm probably just going to use wax because the shelf where I'm putting it isn't really directly in the elements, so it should be okay. If it were going to be exposed to rain or something, I'd use a, what's the word I'm looking for? More permanent sealer. So, but I'm not going to worry about it in this case. And plus, I might just redo this again next year. That's the fun of it. Alright, so we're going to let this dry and put the sealer in, and then I'll arrange it on the shelf and show you the final results.